Okay, in this next video in this series, we are going to set up to find our vanishing points from our resource photo. So to do that, you want to make sure that you have your sketchbook open up, and you are going to, on the top side, that's where you're going to end up adhering this smaller thumbnail version of your image with an acetate flap over top. And then you'll end up drawing some lines up there as well. So I'm going to put my ruler and my Sharpie to the side right now. I'm going to take my image. Sometimes you can kind of just see like about how close to the building like the vanishing points are going to come. If you printed your image out small like this, you should have no problem affixing it to your sketchbook and then drawing the vanishing points within the page. Certainly if you run out of room, you can add flaps to the side, but sometimes if you can see about where they're going to go, if one's going to be closer, one's going to be farther away, you can kind of situate your image within that space appropriately for that distance for the vanishing points. Okay, so I'm just going to take some Scotch tape. I like Scotch tape for this just because it's clear, so it's not going to block any of my image. You can use masking tape as well. Just don't block too much of your image. Keep it like towards the edges of your photo. Okay, and then once it's down, I'll probably just tape the other two sides real quick. Kind of flying up a bit. Then I'm going to tape the acetate over top. I'm only going to tape the acetate on one side. The reason I'm going to do that is so that way I can kind of lift it and put it back down over top of the image. That is kind of nice, just so that way you can see more of the detail in the image, and also kind of flip back to be able to see your vanishing points. If you want to tape it on all sides, that's totally fine. As long as you have this other printout, you should be fine. If you want to draw directly on the image, that's fine as well. It really doesn't make a big deal if you use the acetate or not. Some people like to just kind of put like a little like flap like this too, where they can kind of lift it off and then put it back down. Doesn't really matter. Okay, next thing that we're going to do is we're going to draw the orthogonal lines to find the vanishing points with the image. So to do this, you want to, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line right down that corner of the building that's closest to me. Okay. So because I'm working on acetate, I'm just going to use a Sharpie marker. Okay, and you can use the thin tip Sharpies, work fine as well. I'm just going to draw that vertical line right there. Okay, then there's two other vertical lines that you're going to draw on your acetate. They are going to be the back of the building. Oops, I accidentally slid my ruler underneath my acetate. There we go, back on top. And then the back here. Okay, and then that actually goes through that bush, so I'm just going to bring that down to about where I can see where it would stop. Ooh, that pink Sharpie is not showing up so well. Let me see if I can get a different color Sharpie. See that a little bit better. I'll just go over these lines real quick. Okay, then the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to trace the bottom here of the building where I can see where it meets the ground. Okay, and I'm going to extend this line out. Okay, this line is called an orthogonal line. You might remember that from one of the more introductory exercises that we've done leading up to this. And then I'm going to connect these two lines. So I can kind of see where the roof meets that part of the building, and so that's what I'm going to use as kind of like the top of that side of the cube there. Okay, and I'm going to continue that orthogonal out until it crosses this one, and so this right here is going to be my vanishing point. Okay, and then I'm going to join this corner to this edge, drawing it straight out. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing, and this actually works out really well because I can see it pretty clearly. Okay, so I finished drawing the orthogonal lines on either side of the building to the vanishing points, and then I just quickly labeled left vanishing point, right vanishing point, and then I just wrote orthogonal line here, so that way you know all of the lines that recede back to the vanishing points, those are called orthogonal lines. Okay, and then there's one other line that we need to draw. You probably remember the horizon line, and so the horizon line, we're going to connect the two vanishing points. I'm going to take my Sharpie across, and draw a horizontal line. So, and then you could, of course, you could label that horizon line as well if you wanted to label that for yourself. All right, now when we go on to drawing this, knowing where all of these lines are and the proximity where the building is with the vanishing points is going to be very helpful when we draw this enlarged on our next, in our next video.